Hey, buckle up and pop the popcorn, 'cause we're diving headfirst into the ghostly underbelly of Tinseltown, where the spotlight never dims even when the stars do. Hollywood, land of dreams, drama, and, you guessed it, a dash of the dead. We're talking about Hollywood's most morbid stars, the legends who've left us with more questions than answers, and tales so twisted they make the Bates Motel look like a five-star resort. While some took the lives of others, some did things way worse and nicely covered it up. Eddie Manx. Joseph Edgar Allen. John Manx was an American film studio executive and producer. He is remembered for his work as a fixer. If you are wondering what that is, Eddie was paid handsomely to cover up the lapses and often colorful lives of actors and actresses by any means necessary. He moved under the shadows and did whatever it took to protect the studio and the actors under them. When Manx went to LA, he had a clear mission. Although he was ostensibly an assistant to MGM producer Irving Thalberg, his real purpose was much darker. Schenck wanted Manx to spy on and eventually ruin MGM head Louis B. Mayer, since Mayer was the man who beat out Schenck for MGM's top spot. But more to the point, alongside his MGM colleague Howard Strickling, Manx also made sure that no one in the public even got a whiff that their favorite stars were living reckless lives. They would quash any stories of scandals in the press, hushing up things. For example, when Greta Garbo's relationships with women tried to come into the limelight, Manx did what he did best, and squashed the news from going too far. Sometimes, though, a star may not want to fall in line or stay silent. When that happened, Manx became violent. But then, when the stars were particularly obstinate and Manx had a hard time keeping them in line, he took things further and brought in reinforcements, calling up his old mob buddies from New Jersey. It didn't take long for the intended target to learn their lesson, and Manx paid back his underworld friends in shocking ways. A favor for a favor. If Manx's New Jersey buddies ran when he came calling, maybe it's no wonder why. For example, in 1935, rising young starlet Thelma Todd was found lifeless inside her chocolate-colored Lincoln Phaeton, wrapped in her finest silks and mink. Although the authorities ruled the death as accidental, the truth may be much different. Some believe Todd found herself in a mobster's bad books, and a wise guy had offed her. Then, showing allegiance to his New Jersey pals, Manx quickly covered it up. We're just getting started, though. But that's not the only dark thing Manx may have been involved in. He also faced suspicions regarding his involvement in the demise of actor George Reeves, renowned for his role in the series Adventures of Superman. Reeves had engaged in an affair with Manx's wife, Toni, starting in 1951. Reportedly, Manx tacitly accepted the affair, which became common knowledge in Hollywood circles. Concurrently, Manx himself was involved in a long-term relationship with a Japanese woman. Due to the Manx's adherence to Catholic beliefs against divorce, this arrangement persisted for several years. However, when Reeves terminated the affair in early 1959 and announced his engagement to socialite Leonore Lemon, Toni was deeply affected. Reeves's demise was by a gunshot wound to the head on June 16, 1959, at his residence, but Manx made sure it was officially deemed a suicide. However, controversy has surrounded this ruling ever since. Speculations emerged suggesting Manx's potential ties to organized crime and his alleged orchestration of Reeves's demise by hiring a hitman. Scotty Bowers. Upon his arrival in Hollywood in 1946, fresh from his service in the Marine Corps, Mr. Bowers actively engaged in the film industry's clandestine secret subculture, as he admitted. His initiation into this world occurred while he was working at a gas station on Hollywood Boulevard. A well-dressed man in a Lincoln approached him, expressing confidence in his capabilities. This encounter led to an afternoon spent with Walter Pidgeon, an Oscar-nominated actor, and his male lover, despite both being married to women. Subsequently, Mr. Bowers embarked on a career offering bedroom services, as well as a procurer of whatever fantasies big names in the industry had. His role as a procurer was an open secret in Hollywood, especially among closeted individuals who felt compelled by societal norms and potential scandal to conceal their romantic lives. Operating under the guise of a gas station attendant for about 5 years, and later assuming roles as a handyman and bartender at private gatherings, Mr. Bowers arranged numerous liaisons without accepting payment directly. While some labeled him a pimp, he preferred to identify as a gentleman hustler. In a 2012 interview with CBS Sunday Morning, he explained, "I didn't believe in being an outright pimp. Sort of a pimp, but not an outright pimp. There's a difference, you know." Scotty also arranged for female companions for male actors Bob Hope, Desi Arnaz, and William Holden, among others. Arnaz's wife, Lucille Ball, once saw Mr. Bowers at a party and punched him in the face. Detractors charged Mr. Bowers with exaggeration or outright fabrication, noting that everyone named in his book was safely in the grave. He said, "I've kept silent all these years because I didn't want to hurt any of these people," he told the New York Times in 2012. Despite his intimate knowledge of Hollywood's inner workings, Mr. Bowers chose to remain discreetly in the background for decades. However, when he eventually revealed his story in 2012, it sent shockwaves through an industry that seemed to have no more secrets left. Skeptics raised doubts about the truthfulness of his scandalous narratives because most of them were so bizarre. Lupe Vees. Famously dubbed the Mexican Spitfire, Lupe Vees was a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood, embodying a carefree spirit that made even the audacious Rhett Butler seem reserved. Her life was a whirlwind of scandalous antics and passionate pursuits, earning her a reputation as one of the most colorful personalities of her time. Renowned for her fiery outbursts and wild behavior, Velez's escapades knew no bounds. From staging public fights to attending wrestling matches and enthusiastically cheering for blood, she relished in defying societal norms and embracing her own uninhibited nature. But more than anything, she was also an extremely jealous woman, and she unleashed her jealousy on her then-lover, Gary Cooper. One notorious incident involved her unzipping Gary Cooper's fly at a social gathering, unabashedly attempting to discern whether he had been involved with another man. Yet, amid her tumultuous relationships and tumultuous behavior, Veles maintained a persistent infatuation with Cooper. Whether fueled by rumors of his physical attributes or his ability to match her in intensity, Cooper held a unique place in Velez's tumultuous love life. Their dynamic was far from harmonious, evidenced by an occasion where Veles, in a fit of rage, reportedly stabbed him. However, the most bizarre chapter of Velez's life unfolded in her final act. Choosing to end her own life, she approached her own demise with meticulous attention to detail reminiscent of preparing for a glamorous photo shoot. She adorned her apartment with flowers, lighting candles, meticulously applied makeup, and selecting the perfect outfit, she orchestrated her exit with a flair befitting her theatrical persona. Yet, despite her efforts to craft a dramatic farewell, no record remains of her final moments, leaving a lot of questions unanswered and a lot of controversy surrounding not just her end, but her entire life. Robert Wagner. On November 29, 1981, the entertainment industry was stunned by the tragic demise of Natalie Wood, a beloved actress, at the age of 43. The circumstances surrounding her death, which occurred during the filming of Brainstorm, remain shrouded in mystery and controversy to this day. Wood had been on a weekend excursion to Santa Catalina Island aboard her husband, Robert Wagner's luxurious motor yacht, Splendor, accompanied by her co-star Christopher Walken and the yacht's captain, Dennis Davern. However, what transpired that fateful evening aboard the vessel remains largely unknown, save for the fact that Wood drowned in the waters surrounding the yacht. Wood's body was discovered at 8 a.m. on November 29th, approximately 1 mile away from the boat, with a small inflatable dinghy nearby. Robert Wagner stated that Wood was not with him when he retired to bed, further adding to the mystery surrounding her disappearance. The autopsy report revealed bruises on Wood's body and arms, as well as an abrasion on her left cheek, though the origin and timing of these injuries remain unclear. Davern had previously claimed that Wood and Wagner had engaged in a heated argument that evening, a claim initially denied by Wagner, but later acknowledged in his memoir, Pieces of My Heart. Additionally, the autopsy disclosed that Wood had a blood alcohol content of 0.14% and traces of motion sickness medication and a painkiller in her bloodstream, substances that can intensify the effects of alcohol. Despite Los Angeles County Coroner Thomas Noguchi ruling the cause of demise as accidental drowning and hypothermia, doubts and questions lingered, fueled by conflicting accounts and unexplained circumstances. Most people seemed to still be fixed on the fact that Wagner was behind Wood's demise. As a matter of fact, Wood's sister Lana expressed skepticism, asserting that Wood had an aversion to water and would not have ventured out on the dinghy alone. Furthermore, witnesses on a nearby boat reported hearing a woman's cries for help during the night, adding another layer of uncertainty to the tragic events. All of these facts seemed to point to Wagner, and the case was opened for a very long time. Finally, Wood was laid to rest at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery in Los Angeles, where her funeral attracted a multitude of celebrities and media attention. However, the case was reopened in November 2011 following revelations by Davern, who alleged that Wagner was responsible for Wood's death. Subsequent investigations and forensic analyses have continued to cast doubt on the official ruling, with fresh evidence emerging over the years, including unexplained bruises and injuries on Wood's body. In 2018, Wagner was named a person of interest in the ongoing investigation, with authorities pointing to his presence as the last individual known to have been with Wood before her disappearance. The case remains one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries, as investigators strive to uncover the truth behind Natalie Wood's untimely demise and what role Wagner may have played in it. Jean Harlow. Celebrated as the epitome of Hollywood's glamorous blonde bombshell during its golden age, Jean Harlow experienced a tumultuous and ultimately tragic narrative that captivated both fans and critics alike. Her ascent to stardom was marked by iconic performances and a magnetic on-screen presence, but behind the scenes, her personal life was fraught with turmoil. Harlow's journey took a dramatic turn with her whirlwind marriage to Paul Byrne, a prominent and affluent businessman, in 1932. However, just 2 months after exchanging vows, Byrne was discovered dead from a gunshot wound in circumstances that sent shockwaves reverberating throughout the entertainment industry. Despite authorities swiftly concluding that Byrne's death was a suicide, the circumstances surrounding the incident left many questioning the official narrative. Conspiracy theories soon emerged, suggesting the possibility of foul play orchestrated by unknown forces. Speculation swirled about Harlow's potential involvement, casting a shadow over her reputation and adding layers of complexity to the already mysterious affair. In the aftermath of Byrne's tragic demise, rumors and conjecture flourished, haunting Harlow and those connected to her long after her passing. The enigmatic chain of events surrounding Byrne's death, coupled with the enduring fascination with Harlow's life, ensured that the true nature of the tragedy remained one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries. As the years passed, and the golden age of Hollywood faded into memory, the legacy of Jean Harlow and the unresolved questions surrounding Paul Byrne's untimely end continued to serve as a poignant reminder of the darker undercurrents beneath the glitz and glamour of Tinseltown. Roman Palansky. He was born on August 18, 1933, but unlike many other future Hollywood stars, Roman was born amidst the cultural and political turbulence of interbellum Paris. His parents Beulah, also known as Bella, and Mojes, later known as Morrissey Liebling, adopted the name Ryszard Palansky after World War II. His father was a painter and sculptor, while Beulah, his mother, hailed from Russia and had a diverse religious background. Born Jewish, she was raised in the Catholic faith, while his father was originally from Poland and was of Jewish descent. Tragically, Palansky's family history was marked by the horrors of the Holocaust. Beulah had a daughter named Annette from a previous marriage who survived Auschwitz while her mother perished there. Following these traumatic events, Annette relocated permanently to France. Although Palansky's parents identified as agnostic, the filmmaker himself, even as a Tzhel'd, always felt different, daring, and more unique than most people around him. He later declared his atheism. His upbringing, with its blend of cultural influences and personal tragedies, began to shape the way his life would turn out, and, unknown to him, Palansky was headed for a terrible fate in the future. As he grew older, he began to form opinions and a perspective on life that was unusual compared to his peers. But more than anything, he began to develop a fascination for movies, but not in the conventional sense. His passion for cinema ignited at a remarkably young age, taking root when he was merely 4 or 5 years old. Reflecting on this formative period in an interview, he recounted the early influence of cinema in his life. He said, "Even as a child, I always loved cinema and was thrilled when my parents would take me before the war. Then we were put into the ghetto in Krakow, and there was no cinema. But the Germans often showed newsreels to the people outside the ghetto on a screen in the marketplace. And there was one particular corner where you could see the screen through the barbed wire. I remember watching with fascination, although all they were showing was the German army and German tanks, with occasional anti-Jewish slogans inserted on cards." Despite the adversities of war and confinement, Palansky's intrigue with the medium persisted. Following the war's end, he seized every opportunity to immerse himself in cinema, whether at school or at a local theater, using whatever scant pocket money he had at his disposal. Recalling this period, Palansky wrote, "Most of this went on the movies, but movie seats were dirt cheap, so a little went a long way. I lapped up every kind of film." For Palansky, cinema transcended mere entertainment. It evolved into an all-consuming passion. He described how movies became an integral part of his life, shaping his perception and infusing him with a profound fascination. According to him, "Movies were becoming an absolute obsession with me. I was enthralled by everything connected with the cinema, not just the movies themselves, but the aura that surrounded them. I loved the luminous rectangle of the screen, the sight of the beam slicing through the darkness from the projection booth, the miraculous synchronization of sound and vision, and even the dusty smell of the tip-up seats. More than anything else, though, I was fascinated by the actual mechanics of the process." After eventually attending film school and learning all that there was to learn about film and cinema, his first breakthrough came between 1962 and 1976. His first feature-length film, Knife in the Water, was also one of the first significant Polish films after the Second World War that did not have a war theme. But that did not bother most people at the time, and it marked the first years of his recognition in cinema. It would only go up from them. To everyone else, Palansky was talented, level-headed, and a distinguished gentleman. But unknown to the rest of the world, there was something rather dark about the filmmaker, and it would make its way to the media years later. On the 11th of March, 1977, 3 years after making Chinatown, Palansky was arrested at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel for being inappropriate with 13-year-old Samantha Gailey. Gailey had modeled for Palansky during a Vogue photo shoot the previous day around the swimming pool at the Bel Air home of Jack Nicholson. Palansky was indicted on 6 counts of criminal behavior, including forceful intimacy. At his arraignment, he pleaded not guilty to all charges. At the time, most people did not believe he could ever be capable of such a travesty, so alongside a chunk of the public, even Hollywood executives came to his defense. Gailey's attorney arranged a plea bargain in which 5 of the 6 charges would be dismissed, and Palansky accepted. As a result of the plea bargain, Palansky pleaded guilty to one of the charges and was ordered to undergo 90 days of psychiatric evaluation at California Institution for Men at Chino. Upon release from prison after 42 days, Palansky agreed to the plea bargain, his penalty to be time served along with probation. But soon after, he learned through his contacts that the judge did not intend to let him off that easy, so a day before the sentencing, Palansky fled to London and then to France. Even when he was rearrested years later, due to his contacts and power in the industry, the case kept getting more and more dramatic, and somehow, at the end of it all, Palansky ended up receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award, a testament to how clever and powerful he was in the industry. Robert Blake. He was born Michael James Gubitosi in Nutley to his parents, Giacomo Gubitosi, and his wife, Elizabeth Cafone, in New Jersey on September 18, 1933. However, there is a sad twist to his story. Unknown to most, Blake had an unhappy childhood in which he was maltreated by his alcoholic father. When he entered public school at age 10, he was bullied and had fights with other students, which led to his expulsion. Blake stated that he was physically abused by both of his parents while growing up and was frequently locked in a closet and forced to eat off the floor as punishment. So one day, when he was 14 years of age, he decided he had had enough, and so he ran away. As far as he eventually made it in Hollywood as a renowned actor and entertainer, his childhood trauma had something to do with the path his life took when, in a dramatic turn, a tragic shooting resulting in the demise of his wife, Bonnie Lee Backley, outside a Studio City restaurant occurred on May 4, 2001. Now, this is where things get interesting because apparently he and his wife had been in a falling out prior, and all evidence pointed to Blake. The question is, did he take his wife's life? He defended himself by letting the world know he had nothing to do with his wife's demise. But, despite vehemently asserting his innocence, Blake faced a prolonged legal battle that left an indelible mark on his career and personal life. While a criminal jury acquitted Blake of the charges related to Backley's demise, a subsequent civil trial held him liable, resulting in a monumental $30 million judgment against him, a financial blow that led to his bankruptcy. But another question remains: why would he take the life of his wife? What was he trying to accomplish? Well, the answer to that is Rose, the daughter he shared with Backley. Rose Lenore was raised by relatives and experienced a strained relationship with Blake for years. Their reconciliation occurred in 2019, with Lenore revealing in an interview with People magazine that she referred to him as Robert rather than Dad. Prosecutors alleged that Blake planned Backley's murder to gain sole custody of Rosie, but a jury ultimately rejected this theory, citing muddled evidence. The circumstances surrounding Backley's demise remain contested today, shrouded in mystery, leaving unanswered questions that linger even after Blake's passing.